Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks clinched the Emirates NBA championship tonight. They beat the OKC Thunder 97 to 81. This game was a competitive game heading into the second half. I believe Milwaukee was up 51-50 at halftime, and this seemed very competitive. And then the Bucks just turned on their defense and put the clamps right on the Thunder in the third quarter. They won that quarter 26-14, 12-point margin, and after that they just never looked back. The game was pretty much over by the end of the third quarter. It just wasn't competitive. So it started off with promise and ended up with just being a boring game. But you gotta give the Bucks credit. They really wanted this game. They played this game like it was a championship. Granted, you could say it was, but to me, it's really a farce championship. Farce championship, that is. But the stars really determined this game. Giannis, 26 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He was like perfect at almost everything except for turnovers. He had 4, but everything else across the board, just complete dominant performance. And then you had Damian Lillard, who had 23 points, 6 of 12 overall from the field, 5 of 10 from 3. And he really brought it in this game. Those two guys were big. Brook Lopez had a solid game, 13 points on 5 of 12 shooting, 9 rebounds, 1 block. And Gary Trent was the sixth man off the bench with 13 points. So they were the reasons why their team won. And on the OKC's end, you had Jalen Williams and SGA, who really struggled. SGA shot 8 of 24 from the field. That's not going to get it done. He's their superstar, so they were able to shut him down successfully in this game. He shot 33% from the field, which is poor, abysmal, and Jalen Williams 8 of 20, so those two guys laid an egg, and that's simply why they lost this game. It's pretty simple. I have to say Doc Rivers was overjoyed winning this title because he knew this would be the closest thing he would ever get to a second title, so you could see the joy on his face. It was pretty hysterical. I have to admit, I enjoyed the post-game celebration more than the actual game, just from a comedic standpoint. The NBA really went all out for this award ceremony like it was an actual NBA championship, which was pretty funny. I have to say the NBA did make the shirts look really good for the Bucks. These look like great shirts if you're a Milwaukee fan. I'm not even trying to sell it, but if you're a fan of the Bucks, you definitely should purchase one of these shirts. They actually looked good in design. The hats were great. They actually looked better than NBA final hats. So the league just went all out with the merchandising for this event, and the trophy's the only thing that looks like garbage. It looks like some shit trophy you would buy from a pawn shop for like $1 or so. But overall, it was the award ceremony was great. Giannis got the MVP award. The MVP award looked good, so good for him. I did laugh. Damian Lillard didn't really want to hold that trophy, that cup trophy. I guess there's kind of like that realization. Most likely, this is the only championship he's ever going to win the NBA. You could see that look on his face when Giannis was trying to get him to hold the trophy, and he was very reluctant to hold it. I think he was probably thinking in his mind that I don't want to jinx myself. I don't want to touch that. I just don't want to put a hex on myself. I think that's what he was thinking. He was probably thinking deeply about how this might be the only championship he'll ever win, and he didn't want to have that embarrassing moment. I think to some degree he was kind of embarrassed just thinking that. That's what I suspect, but that was pretty hysterical. But yeah, just their celebration was funny. I did laugh. And the NBA also gave them gold medals, I believe, that they had 10 or 12 kids come up to them, hand them medals. So they got that too. That's another thing that they were very innovative about. I think the award ceremony is important in this regard. Granted, I think this is a farce tournament, but the more the NBA puts into this award ceremony, the more players will want to win this cup than in upcoming years. If you think about it, it gives you motivation because if you're watching this game at home, you're going to think, like, hey, I want to get this award. I want to be part of this celebration and enjoy Vegas. I think that's how you entice the players. And plus, just getting a free $500,000 just to be there that's if you win. So I think the enticements are there, but the game really wasn't entertaining. So that's pretty much all I take out of it. Maybe Milwaukee builds off of this win. They started off the season really poorly. I think they started off the season 2-8, and now when you look at their record right now, 14-11. So they have really climbed out of that hole. You had to give them credit, give Giannis credit. Just they've gone 12-3 since falling in that hole. And I made a video earlier, a month ago, how this was really about his legacy. If he could get out of this hole, and he did, and he deserves a lot of credit. He's playing like an MVP, just having another MVP season, and the Bucks could still climb up a few notches in the standings. It wouldn't surprise me if they got to the third spot. There's that possibility. They're only a few games behind the Knicks, so we'll see. But it'll be definitely interesting. I don't see them climbing up to number 1 and number 2, but maybe if Milwaukee can get into the top 4, they could be a dark horse or a spoiler in the East. But we shall see. That's all I have to say about this.